You know what I think? I think today it's time for me to give another stupid tumor update. I'll be sure to put this stupid tumor update in the stupid tumor playlist found on my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I had what I call a stupid tumor, specifically an acoustic neuroma, also known as a vestibular schwannoma. Mine was like that big, and approximately 3.5 years ago, I believe at this point, they took it out of this side of my head. And today, I'm just giving a general update, because I got a few things going on. If you found this video because you are also dealing with this rare tumor, I highly recommend checking out my playlist. There's 2 specifically dedicated to this tumor. One is just stupid tumor stories where I just babble about a variety of things that have been affected in regards to me having that tumor. And then there's another playlist about some rehabilitation I received here in Germany. What I mean to say is, welcome. All the rest of you, my returning subscribers, my beloved members, thank you so much for coming back. I do hope you've been taking care of yourself. Members, you're gonna be aware of some of the things I talk about today, but I am gonna get a little bit more in detail than I did in our last members only update. Where to begin? Let's begin with the fact that I put on my best onesie for you today to give you this after tumor update. Isn't it sweet? My son got it for me for my birthday. So this is where we're at. Man, recently we had some really nice days, some sunshine, and it looked like spring had sprung. And I cannot express enough how happy I was because I felt good. What I mean is I deal with vertigo on a daily basis. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But on these so-called good days, everything seems like manageable. My head pain seems slighter. My ringing in my ear, this tinnitus, it doesn't seem as loud. And my vertigo is less, which also means this annoying nausea feeling that I have often is also less. So what I'm getting at is I had some really good days, got my terrace cleaned up, moved some plants around. And then guess what? As always happens, in this region that I live, the weather has changed again, and it's rainy, and it's gray, and it's stormy, and what I'm getting at is I am 100% sure, 3.5 years after they took this tumor out of my head, that air pressure is my enemy, winter is my enemy. When the rain comes and the air is heavy, I have these feelings like, I describe it as like somebody put a vice on my head, and they're slowly tightening it, and it's on the back of my head. Also on these days where there's like thick air pressure, these stormy days, it seems to be totally normal that I will wake up feeling like somebody like sucker punched me in the back of the head. I hate those days. And I know within like the first 5 minutes it's going to be bad because I get up and I like just slightly stumble into the doorway. Bumping my elbows on these door handles is also a very common hobby of mine. But to me, the most annoying thing about this vertigo is still the nausea. And then when I feel nauseous, I don't eat, and that's not good. I am trying really hard to eat regularly. But I'm telling you, when you feel nauseous, you don't want to eat. I think what I'm getting at here is, I've had all these issues since this tumor got found and then was taken out of my head approximately 3.5 years ago. When I talk to my doctors about these things, they tell me it's completely normal. And that, yes, they get reports of people where their symptoms or they have pains due to changes in the air pressure / weather. I don't get any answer whether I will be like this or feel like this forever. It's a wait and see. But I'm over here like analyzing everything I'm doing and also everything around me. Like diet and weather and how I feel with those things and how I'm doing in those things. I'm trying to pay attention and see if I can learn something so I can enjoy my days more, if you know what I mean. And so far what I got from this knowledge is, like I said, winter is my enemy. I just have to accept that some days I'm going to spend a majority of it in bed. But I have to say it is really making me look forward to and appreciate good days. Clear skies, low air pressure, less vertigo and nausea, less bumping into stuff. And for me, just having that knowledge that better days will come is really good knowledge I need for my sanity. Because it's been, a bumpy road these last 3.5 years. I was sometimes confusing good days with I'm getting better, which I'm sure you can imagine is very frustrating when then, no, I'm not. Spend the next week mostly in bed. It's frustrating. So anyway, also related to this stupid tumor that was in my head, a lot of you have been following my channel and are aware of that Botox therapy I began a couple months ago, where I got Botox injections in my neck to stop some nerves from reacting wrong. According to doctors, that therapy is to be repeated every 3 months. I shouldn't leave out for the new people because I had facial paralysis. I had nerves down here that were reacting wrong as parts of my face started to work again. The Botox stops them from working for a period of time. The idea is that the rest of us can learn to do it correctly. Yeah, so that appointment was supposed to be today, and I canceled it. Let me explain, don't judge me. So that procedure was to be done at a local hospital. That local hospital contacted me some point in February just to find out if I had heard from my health insurance company yet. If or if not, they would pay for this because they reminded me, your appointment is coming up in March. I informed them at that point I did in fact get a letter from my health insurance company who had sent me a letter saying that they would cover the next Botox therapy. At which point she asked me to take a photo of it, email it to them, which I did. And as it gets closer, I was to get the golden ticket, as we call it, from my neurologist. When I had that, take that to them, and then they would give me the prescription, which I was to then take to an apotheke, or a drugstore. And I was to pick up this Botox, which was to stay cool, and I was then going to transport it using public transportation to my appointment. That was the plan. So something like a week or two ago, I thought I gotta get this ball rolling, and I made an attempt to contact my neurologist. Any of you that have been following all of my stupid tumor stories and all of the progress and frustrations I've had since having this tumor, you're well aware of my constant bad experience and bad luck with neurologists. I'm happy to inform you, nothing's changed. So call the neurologist and their phone goes to an automatic answering machine which gives you two options. Click this button for an appointment and this button for paperwork. We're still in lockdown and a pandemic here, so I thought I only need that paperwork. This guy is well aware of all of my issues. He could just very simply print that paper out. Maybe they can mail it to me, thus avoiding me getting into more public transportation and waiting rooms where sick people are going right now. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to avoid not just the general public, but specifically sick people. Sorry, sick people. I don't want to get sick. So now I gotta wait for that doctor to mail that paperwork, and a day or two goes by, it's not coming. I try to call again. It's just the button, leave a message option. I'm getting kind of annoyed with that. But then I thought to be safe, I should get the ball rolling in the other direction. I emailed again, the neurologist department at this hospital that's supposed to do this procedure that I was in contact with before, and I had sent the paperwork that I had been approved for payment for the next Botox shots. And I explained in this email that I had just made contact with my neurologist. I was hoping to have, they call it a new revisal, here in just a few days, and I wanted to make contact with them. How is this going to go then with this prescription, this Rezept in German? I wanted to know if they expected me to come in person, if they needed to see me, or if I could get it mailed to me. So I asked. The answer I got back per email was asking if I could mail them proof that my insurance company was going to pay for this, because they seem to have lost that. So no problem, that can happen, right? So I took a picture and I sent it back to her. At that point, her response to me was something like, for Armstrong, you should be aware that your insurance company has only said they will only pay for one procedure. Remember, this therapy is supposed to be done every 3 months. And she reminded me again that if I'm going to continue it, I'm going to have to go again and contact my insurance company for the next one in 3 months. And then finally at the end, she answered my question. After she finished reading me my letter back to me, I don't know, because maybe I can't read. I don't know what she was thinking there. That was kind of annoying. And she responded to me that once I had the paper from my neurologist, then they would write the prescription and they could mail it to me. But quite honestly, at that point, I was feeling like a scumbag who was being judged whether or not she could afford this medical procedure. A medical procedure that I've never heard of before in my life, before a top doctor at a respected rehabilitation clinic in Germany recommended that I should do this. But now it could just be me, but even though it was email, I didn't like this lady's tone. And at the same time, the neurologist still didn't get back to me. You know, and at that point, Armstrong just starts playing over in her head all the freaking, I'm just going to say it, worthless neurologists I've met with that don't have an interest in doing their job or looking a little deeper because they're seeing a patient who has been affected with something that only hits 1 in 100,000 people each year. And so maybe they learned about it like for 2 weeks, like 5 years ago, but God forbid they open Google like me and educate themselves a little bit so they can care for their patient. Nope, ain't got time for that. Right, so patience is wearing thin, I'm totally overthinking everything. And quite honestly, as I said, the weather becomes shitty again. So then I physically start feeling shitty. And I'm playing this over in my head, like literally these people, from my insurance company to all these doctors, they all have documentation that says I'm living with constant vertigo. And a ringing in my ear and facial paralysis and headaches and nausea. But let's pay attention to this vertigo. Vertigo can make you like, trip, stumble, bump into things, sometimes even fall over. Good times. And all these people educated in medicine are like, yeah, this is the girl we're going to make run around, risk her health in the middle of a pandemic, in the way of public transportation and waiting rooms full of people. And then, here's the fun part. Then we hand her a toxin and we have this girl who trips and stumbles take this toxin onto public transportation. What could go wrong? And the neurologist still doesn't answer the phone or get back to me. So with all that in mind and feeling like somebody punched me in the back of the head and like I'm about to vomit, after just bumping into the door frame and banging my elbow for the 5th time, I was exhausted just thinking about the process. I called it. Yes, I was very excited when they did this. I found it very helpful. Totally saw improvement. Totally was looking forward to doing it again. Was a little nervous about how many hundreds of euros it was going to cost me that I was going to have to come up with first before my insurance reimbursed me. Thanks for that help, Techniker. I don't know why it couldn't have worked like any other medication. Or why I even had to go through that circus, pick it up and transport it. Like when I just showed up at that hospital the first time, they just happened to have Botox there. The way this is all arranged is just too much. I called it, I canceled it. I once again wrote an email. This would have been 2 days before the appointment, but I clearly explained to myself that this is all just too much for me with my disabilities at the moment. I mentioned that in the future I will contact my health insurance, try to have a talk with them and see if there's a solution for a more reasonable way for this to be done. But I tapped out because for right now it's too much. It's not a necessity. I have a long list of issues and quite honestly, my facial paralysis, my ugly neck with the nerves acting all wanky, I mean, it's not my number one problem. I mean, if I could get help for the things that annoy me the most, the vertigo, the nausea feeling, and this goddamn ringing in my ear that literally makes me crazy sometimes. If I could get help for them, man, I would pursue that no matter what, but pretty much I'm handed pills for seasickness that just make me tired. Totally takes away the nausea feeling. I think it helps with the vertigo, but honestly it's hard to tell because I'm a little zombie-ish when I take them. And when you're like zombie-ish, you also feel like pulled down, you know what I mean? So I try not to take those pills. The only help I get in regards to my vertigo is just something I have to learn to live with. And the same with the goddamn ringing in my ear. Nobody cares. The last time I was at the H&O, ear, nose, and throat doctor in regards to anything ear-related, again, this tumor is generally found by an ear, nose, and throat doctor because it grows on the nerve that transfers the data to your brain of what you hear. And the last time I went and visited him, It was like the beginning of the pandemic, and they were all nervous, rightfully so. None of us knew what was coming, and they're still learning. I still got a feeling most of the people in charge don't have a clue what's going on, honestly. I think they're fumbling through a lot of things. But regardless, that doctor made it pretty much clear to me there was nothing he could do for me. And because of the beginning of that whole pandemic situation, not a good idea to go to an ear, nose, and throat office because, a lot of them symptoms, people might be there. You can call me paranoid. I don't want to get sick. Ever since I had this tumor, if I get anything in this area, any kind of little head cold, even just a little headache, a sinus infection, an ear infection, I'm out. It hits me 10 times harder than it did before I had the tumor. So pandemic or not, I am washing my hands. I am trying to keep space. I don't want to get sick. I feel bad enough on a daily basis. But here I am again trying to look for the positive in things, and I'm going back to those nice days we had. I really feel like I have clear confirmation that weather change affects me. And with that knowledge, I'm going to work really hard on planning my life better, really taking advantage of good days. Tricky part is going to be to not overdo it, because I am known for overdoing things sometimes. And I think when I have these bad days or even these bad weeks, and I make them worse for myself in here, that's where I have to start telling myself better days are coming. And I check Google weather every day. I watch the weather reports where I can see precipitation by hour. I'm just saying, I'm going to watch out for those good days. I'm really hopeful the weather changes soon. I think I got about another month of crap weather here in this region. When those better days come, I am going to make sure I get outside, enjoy me a little bit of nature, a little bit of fresh air, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of physical activity. I don't like being locked in this much. I know I got no choice. But my best friend said it to me once. He said, Armstrong, you're like having a pit bull. And he was like, yeah. He was like, if I take you and I just lock you in an apartment all day long, you're going to tear the couch apart, you're going to wreck stuff. And I was like, yeah, that does sound like me. And he was like, yeah, Armstrong, you need to go for a walk. Like a dog. My best friend's right. He knows me. So there we are. 3.5. I mean, we're kind of creeping up closer to 4 years. I'm trying to think. Right now we're in March. I want to say, didn't they find this tumor in my head around April? And then it got removed around August, June, July, August. I don't know. I have all the dates on paperwork. I'm just saying, I feel like I'm learning and I am getting a better understanding of my disabilities at this point. I think I still have a lot more to learn. Namely, accepting that I'm disabled and it's okay that I have days where I feel worthless. But I am thankful that I do get help here. My therapist, for example, is extremely helpful in me working through all of the different things that I'm dealing with. But he also explains to me things in a way I can understand. And I feel really confident in a lot of the stuff he says. He knows me well, he knows my background. And recently he offered to get me some help to get my paperwork in such an order. Trust me, I need help. My anxiety issues and with this retirement office and the unemployment office, varieties of forms, I am really over paranoid on doing stuff wrong, missing stuff. So hopefully I get some help on that soon. That's pretty cool. My resolution right now is I'm resting when I need to rest, but I'm telling you, better days are coming, folks. And I am looking forward to them. Looking forward to taking you guys outside for a walk. I feel like I haven't done that in forever. That's not good. We all got to go out and get some fresh air and sunshine. But as usual, I do appreciate you all listening to my babbling and my ranting. As I stated at the beginning of this video, I will be putting this into the Stupid Tumor playlist. And if you happen to be somebody that's been affected by an acoustic neuroma, or maybe you're caring for someone who has, leave me a comment if you have any questions. I know how frustrating it can be. Everybody gets affected differently by it. And as I said, I talk about a variety of things on this channel, but I do try to check in fairly often with stupid tumor updates. As I have them, I share them with you all. And right now as I speak, I'm back to having that feeling like somebody sucker punched me in the back of the head. So I'm going to end this video. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful week. And until we meet again, I do hope that you do your best to take care of yourself.